Hi, my name is Luis, and in this video I'm going to show exactly how I did from working as a data science analyst in a 500 Fortune company as an immigrant to actually working as a full-time UGC creator. Next couple minutes you're going to be here with me. I'm actually going to be talking about why I wanted to leave the corporate world so bad, even though the pay was kind of really fine, and how I actually did, transform this side hustle that was UGC at a time to actually become my full-time job nowadays. And at the end, I'm gonna drop you also a couple, steps by step on how you can do that too, in case you want to create some extra income to build more like a side hustle, or you actually want to also to leave your 9 to 5, your corporate world, or your retail job, whatever you do nowadays, to actually become a full-time UGC content creator. But before that, I'm gonna bring you along to like do my haircut because this here is not cute. So let's go with me. Okay, we are going face this freaking cold weather. Oh my goodness, let's do this. So I'm an immigrant and I moved here from Brazil to the US in 2019 exactly. I literally came here with $300. I don't know what was going on in my mind at that time. I do not recommend that. And from there, I have worked multiple jobs, let me tell you. I have worked in restaurants, delivering, pet sitting, coffee shop, retail, and my last one, it was the corporate world. Because I have worked multiple jobs, I came a long way to be a data science analyst here in America to now be a full-time content creator. So I always saw people making money online. However, this was just for me a completely scam, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know, it just didn't really click for me. For me, people just want to take my money. They really just wanted, me buying the courses or whatever. It just all felt very scam. So for a long time, I denied this kind of personality of me, or want to travel, want to do all the success that people you see on YouTube as of right now, you see it, right? So for me, it was just very kind of scammy. So I never really believed much in that. So I just kind of, denied this part of it. I tried to make money online for the longest part of my life. However, it just came to a time where I was working 3 jobs. I was literally pet sitting at the time. I was working retail as a manager at Target. But also I was doing like DoorDash, delivery food, all of that stuff after working retail. And I was also, for some reason, doing college because all I wanted at some point was working in the corporate world, because I don't really wanted to work on the weekends. I didn't really like dealing with Karens all around me and people complaining about returns and all of that and the company's policy. So for me, it was just enough. I finally made it. I graduated college as a data scientist and I landed to a 6-figure job. I was like so happy because I know how hard it is, just going straight out of college to try to find and get a job that actually pays, that we can actually live. And I finally did that. I was just like, finally, oh my God, I'm finally achieving, oh my goodness, I'm finally achieving the American dream, right? So, however, it was the more plot twist I could ever tell anyone. So the pay was good. I landed a job that I always wanted, However, the plot twist was, I was an intern in that company and it was just so much fun. I made like so much good friends. However, when I actually landed the job, to be for real, it was crazy. Thank you. People are so nice. I landed the job and I already felt something different because first, I didn't get the team that I wanted. They just pushed me to whatever team it was. And it was not like part of the contract, so it just felt very scammy from the point going. And the team was just so rude, girl. Let me tell you, there were times of the gaslighting part was crazy. They writing an hour of just writing one email. And I just felt like word was twisted. The words were very twisted in that team and the gaslighting in general. So from that point on, I was just feeling very down, because every time that we have a meeting, it was always like, you did this wrong. You did this wrong, you did that wrong. Like, okay, fine, I bet, I'm not the most perfect one. I get that. However, when I ask you guys questions, you guys don't have time to answer me. So it was just very a toxic environment that really put myself very down. Like right now you see me recording this video, but like I was just so down. I was crying at home. There were days that I was actually, like past my time. Usually it's like a 9 to 5. So some days I was just like until 10 p.m. running code, running freaking SQL. And it was just not for me, bro. No, that team was not for me. I didn't like the management. I didn't feel value. And at that time, I was like, okay, I really need to do something of my life, right? And I know like I'm just kind of short story here, but I was just so sad. No, I was really sad. And at that point, I realized that I really needed to make a change in my life, because if not, I'm just gonna be here complaining, but what am I actually doing to change that, right? So at that point, I already had started doing UGC as a side hustle. I was making my $500 to $1,000 in there with brands. And I was just very nervous, not gonna lie, because first, I'm an immigrant. Second, I'm gay, I'm married. And third, I'm not from here, I'm black, right? So I don't know, there was just a lot of one of those beliefs in my life about no one's gonna take me serious, this might be just for like a white, public or something. So I was just very, cautious about it, let's say it like that. However, I took a chance on it. And I really saw the possibilities for me, because I'm not gonna lie, there was a month that a brand had paid me like $900 one video, and I was just like in the beginning phases, guys. So let me tell you this, and it was food. I am a foodie, I'm not gonna lie. So what I did is I actually took like time off from work to do that brand deal. And again, I'm not an influencer, guys. I have like literally maybe like 400 followers. And when I saw that, oh my God, this is actually real. I maybe should invest my time in there, because this is way more fun. I don't have to go out in this cold, even though I'm in the cold right now, but I need to do my haircut. So this is actually real. So that's when I actually like saw this as an opportunity to go from my side hustle to be my full-time job. I'm not gonna lie, I think I'm a little lost. I have been living here in Chicago for like about a year, maybe a year and a half. And I'm about to lose my appointment, so we're gonna run with me on this here. Finally home, oh my goodness. And I brought some UGC package. So cold, frio da porra, viu? Oh my God. As we were talking, from that point going on, it just really made me realize that I can actually maybe live off of UGC, I could actually make something in working for myself, because I think that's the point that everything clicked for me. And as I was just like in a very, very toxic environment, and I was crying, I went to therapy, I just realized that I really need to make a change, right? And I just dove in writing in UGC. I reframed my portfolio, I reached out to more brands. I was just very time blocking, because let me tell you, honestly, it's just kind of hard. I'm not saying like this is hard, this is not like an overnight success, because you really have to dedicate it. Because as you have like as I had it, for instance, a 9 to 5, the only time that I actually had to work was before work. So I would wake up like very early in the morning, and I'll also go to the gym as well, but also after work, which is like, that time that I usually used to have my, Netflix or just chill out with my partner, I actually was working this business. And of course, the weekends. And fast forward 3 months later, I was actually laid off from the job that I had. Crazy plot twist. I was like, you know, of course, I was just super sad. Even though at that point, I really want to work for myself and I actually wanted to give my resignation, right? I wanted to be kind of on my terms in a sense. The layoff came in, and I feel like when that came in, I just really made me realize how much a title is like our identity, which is crazy for me. How I was just attach myself so much my value in a company that did not value me. I was really not being myself anymore, and even though I was sad because I got laid off. But at that point, I realized, you know what? That's the time that I'm gonna make work for myself because I'm gonna back myself in here. Yes, I can always come back to a corporate world. Yes, I can always come back to 9 to 5, but I'm gonna, take this bet on myself. If I could work so hard for so many employers since I got here, and even in Brazil too, if I could work so hard for other people, why I could not work hard for myself and actually be my own boss and see the results of my actual work for me, right? And from that point on, since September 2025, I started being a full-time UGC creator. I dove in completely, and October was my highest month of 2025, which was very, very close to $10,000. Was something around like 9,800, 9,700, something around that. And I'm not here just to brag about it because literally, guys, I'm literally in my apartment right now, drinking my tea in this cold weather, and like I'm just a person that was just so tired of rules, of just being the norm, because I wanted to travel. I wanted to travel, I wanted to live on my own. I wanna, just pay my dad, because yes, we do have that here too. But I just wanna live life on my own terms, and not depending from others. And I know in the beginning I told I will give you a couple of steps by steps on how you're gonna do that. Let me just grab here. Let's do it. So the first thing that you actually have to do before you jump into UGC or kind of the content creation in general. I know you probably see a lot of people talking about mindset and blah 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 blah. You may be even thinking that's just kind of woohoo stuff, mystical. But believe me, trust me on this. If you got here up to this point, those things that you write it down, those are the things that are gonna, you push through it when things are hard. And I tell this to everyone that asks me how, because everyone asks me, like, how did you do it? Even doing your 9 to 5 and doing videos and editing and prospecting to brands. Like, girl, I just really want it. I really lean into my why. And some days is not gonna have any motivation. I'm telling you, there are days that are like, fuck this, I don't want to do it, but then I look at my why and I look up, that's why I want to do it. And I did anyways, even without motivation, okay? So the first thing is like, just write down your whys. Why do you want this? Why do you want this side hustle to work? Why do you want to leave your 9 to 5 if you have one, right? Why do you want to leave your job to be a UGC, to be a content creator? Really, look on those perspectives, look very internally, and just be honest with yourself. It's just to you, girl. Second point, time blocking. Girl, I'm still working on the time blocking thing, but especially if you have another job, you're gonna need to time block and understand in your routine how we're gonna fit that, because you're gonna have to open up maybe like you're now on Netflix. Maybe you're gonna have to wake up early. Maybe you're gonna have to go to bed late. You're gonna have to work on the weekends. You're gonna have to work on your time off, because literally there is no other way. Like we all have lives, we have bills, so you're gonna have to add up, and that's when the time block comes. And then you're gonna have to be very disciplined. And I get it. We're all not like that. I am still learning to be that disciplined. Time blocking, because we're gonna make this work, baby. Right? Third thing, go in your house and find something that you use every day. Find something that you use every day. You don't need to buy like new products. You don't need to be like looking for a PR in the beginning. No, girl. No, literally. Just go grab something that you use every day. For instance, if I would give you an example, I have this tea leaf here. You know, it's a for leaf teas. Make a product that I can use this more in the winter. But if I right now it's winter here, so I'll definitely create a video of this here, right? Fourth thing, subscribe to the channel and already like it and share with your friends and besties because I'm gonna give you like guys so much tips and tricks here that I wish I had it. And next, grab all those products that you have at home, make videos of them and put it in a portfolio, which is basically just a website. Create them on Canva because it's free, and I promise you, Canva is not that complicated, girl. Like I could do it. And Alice, but you are a data science analyst. Of course you do, girl. I do not know how to code. I do not know how to code at all. So just put it in Canva and do not be so perfectionist about it. Just put it in there. Plug and play. Boom, boom, boom. And then that's it. And then after that, you start prospecting to brands. And that's how everybody do. The recipe plan right here for you. And if you like this video, subscribe, give it a like, share with your besties, and I'll see you next. Beijos, bye!